On their 6-month wedding anniversary, his aloof, beautiful CEO wife, Lu Ningshuang, handed him divorce papers. Look back at your aloof CEO wife. Don't sign. She's crazy in love with you. Yeah, this second male lead is great in every way, except he has terrible taste. Right. Never mind that she looks so determined to divorce you right now. If you just called her honey, she'd probably rip her own head off for you to kick around. Or were these subtitles suddenly floating before my eyes? Is this some kind of joke? Or have I been partying so hard lately that my body's weak and I'm starting to hallucinate? Shaking my head, I try to push aside these chaotic thoughts. Lu Ningshuang and I had only been married for 6 months, and today she was handing me divorce papers. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at the woman sitting upright across from me, her expression clearly reading "Do not approach." I pulled out my fountain pen and gripped it tightly. This woman was intimate with me just last night, and today she's completely turning her back on me? Fine, let's get divorced. I'll just head to the nightclub later and get 18 hostesses to pour my drinks. As I gripped the pen, ready to sign, suddenly a few more lines of text popped up before my eyes. Don't do it, bro. The female lead you pine for has already secretly fallen for the male lead. You, the second male lead, don't stand a chance with her anymore. What a tragedy. The second male lead and second female lead I've been following for so long. Are they really getting divorced just like that? Nanny, what the heck is this about male leads, female leads, second male leads, and second female leads? Can't Lu Ningshuang see this text appearing in the air? Frowning, I looked towards my beautiful CEO wife across from me, who had her arms crossed. Unexpectedly, her gaze was fixed on the hand I was using to sign. Could it be she really doesn't want a divorce? Is this second male lead really this dense? Yeah. Don't mind her icy, calm facade. Inside, she's an emotional wreck. Her sorrow could fill an ocean. What a pity. The second male lead in this tragic novel is perfect in every way, except he hasn't got an ounce of discernment. Ignoring an untouchable beauty like her at home, insisting on chasing that good-for-nothing female lead. Serves him right to end up alone for the rest of his life. Damn, me end up alone. How is that possible? If I were single for even a day, women everywhere would be trembling. Still, the content of the bullet comments left me utterly shocked. This aloof, beautiful CEO across from me had actually liked me for years. Our eyes met. Lu Ningshuang looked away, letting out a soft humph. Hurry up and sign, she said. Isn't this what you've always wanted? Divorce? Freedom? Her words completely baffled me. What the hell did she mean? I've always wanted a divorce. Look at Lu Ningshuang across from me. Fair skin, beautiful face, long legs, a voluptuous figure, long, straight black hair. Have I lost my mind to want to divorce her? I really wanted to shoot back. Okay, smart ass. What else do you know about me? Just tell me directly. Stop making me guess. I don't know if these bullet comments could hear my thoughts, but they started appearing again. Why do I get the feeling this second male lead is starting to fall for Lu Ningshuang? Doesn't he know that aside from her inability to speak kindly, the woman is otherwise flawless? Hurry up and tell her, I love you. Yes. This ice queen is about to lose her husband, and she's still trying to play it cool over there. What if Lu Ningshuang told the second male lead that she was the one who saved him back then, not the female lead? I wonder if the ending wouldn't be so painful. These bullet comments scrolled past, one after another, pulling my thoughts further and further away. A woman had saved my life once. Actually, I knew it was Lu Ningshuang. I just didn't understand why she always seemed determined to hide it from me. Seeing I wasn't making a move, Lu Ningshuang, trying hard to appear calm while suppressing her sadness, said, Don't worry, I'll explain things to your parents. The fault lies with me, unless you don't want to get divorced anymore. I put down my pen, the corner of my mouth twitching slightly upwards as I looked at Lu Ningshuang across from me. Who said I wanted a divorce? Lu Ningshuang, who had been pretending to be calm while picking up her cup to drink coffee, suddenly started choking violently upon hearing my words. Wiping her mouth with a tissue, her beautiful eyes widened in surprise as she looked at me. We're not getting divorced? Cough, cough. This is your only chance. If you want a divorce later, it'll only happen if I'm widowed. Lu Ningshuang's voice was still a little hoarse from coughing and choking. I nodded. Before, I was just angry. It was impulsive. You just said divorce was what I always wanted. Why would you say that? Hearing this, Lu Shuang turned her head to look out the floor-to-ceiling window, her eyes filled with sorrow. After a 2-second pause, she explained softly, I overheard you chatting with that good buddy of yours, saying you'd be single again soon, and then you could go find her. I know you're unhappy being forced to be with me. She just came back to the country. I'll let you go. Go find her. The way Lu Shuang told it, she sounded utterly convinced, but I was completely baffled. Am I fucking stupid? Reject a gorgeous, aloof CEO like Lu Shuang to chase after that scheming female lead? So the female lead is back. Lu Shuang sees her husband frowning all day when he's with her. Now she plans to step aside for someone else. Serves her right to be single. Lu Shuang, unleash your domineering presence from the business world. Where's the promised damned possessiveness of an overbearing president? Second male lead. Hurry up and hug her. I feel like her heart must have been breaking when she said that last sentence. So that's what this is about. Lu Shuang thought my supposed old flame, the female lead, was coming back, which explains this whole scene. But are women really this magnanimous nowadays, even willing to give away their own husbands? Seeing me silent, frowning in thought, Lu Shuang assumed I was thinking about that woman again. With a scrape, she pushed her chair back. Thinking about her again? Too late. I'm telling you, if you want a divorce now, I don't agree anymore. With that, she snatched the divorce papers from me and ripped them to shreds with a violent tearing sound. By the time I reacted, the divorce agreement was shredded beyond recognition. Searching my memory, the conversation with my best friend that day slowly came back to me. Then I looked at Lu Shuang, speechless. That's not what I said that day. Didn't you hear the rest of it? The tips of Lu Shuang's ears instantly turned bright red, her hands fidgeting together awkwardly. Then why? These past few nights have you been so towards me? At this, I understood immediately. Doesn't this woman know her own power? Take the last 10 days, for instance. The first 5 days, she wore me out every single day. The next 5 days, maybe she knew to hold back a little. But the problem is, what man could resist his 7-meter-tall wife walking past him in a black lace nightgown, white Valentinos, and strappy high heels? Even on not even 30 and full of youthful energy, I can't take that kind of pressure. A woman's period, it seems, exists to protect men. I roll my eyes at her. You don't know the meaning of moderation. Doing that stuff every day, of course I'm going to be a little cold towards you. After saying this, I couldn't help but blush myself. These scrolling comments aren't exactly proper either. What kind of outrageous things is the second male lead saying? As someone who follows this drama daily, how come I haven't seen the R-rated content he mentioned? Does that stuff really happen? Even I, a premium VIP member, haven't seen it. No field is plowed barren. Only the ox is worked to death. The ancients truly spoke wisely. Lu Shuang was taken aback by my remark. Realizing it was a misunderstanding, she pursed her lips. Sorry, I misunderstood. Also, about that limited edition Pagani Huayra you said you liked last time, I've pushed for it a few times. It should be delivered domestically very soon. Don't be mad, okay. I gave a resigned smile. A sports car worth tens of millions. What's there for me to be angry about? Waiting a few more days is fine. If the second male lead, Yi Fan, called her wife, right now, Lu Shuang would probably give her life for him. From a decent man's perspective, Lu Shuang is infinitely better than the female lead by Jia. Yi Fan and his white moonlight, the female lead by Jia, each found themselves a substitute. But by Jia falling in love with that substitute man. Truly clueless. Seeing these bullet comments, I finally realized this by Jia is the female lead, and we were each other's white moonlight. The two of us were separated by a strange twist of fate. Each found a substitute, and in the end, Jia fell in love with her substitute. In the original plot, I still loved Jia, and after she returned to the country, I would resolutely divorce Lu Shuang. In the end, I pleased neither side, a result both tragic and melodramatic. I didn't even need to imagine how miserable my own ending would be. Aside from getting a huge fortune from the divorce and ordering 18 princesses to drink with me every day, life would have no hope left. After quietly finishing dinner, Lu Shuang was typing away at her laptop. I was playing on my phone on the sofa, watching her black hair, simply put up, revealing her delicate, fair, oval face. Everyone, just picture Lu Ningshuang as your ideal type, okay? On impulse, I called out, wife. Lu Ningshuang looked over at the sound, utterly shocked, her large eyes blinking, adorably stunned. Seeing this, I scooted over and grabbed her creamy, smooth hand. Wife, why didn't you answer me? We just finished eating. Are you trying to seduce me right now? I raised an eyebrow. Calling my own wife wife? How can that be called seduction? Besides, didn't you think I always wanted a divorce? I have to demonstrate my position, my attitude. Before I could finish speaking, Lu Ningshuang immediately took off her black-framed glasses and rushed into my arms like a kitten. A brief thought. In this spacious apartment, it was just Lu Ningshuang and me, no one else. And then, 120 minutes later, I was sprawled on the sofa like a dead dog. Lu Ningshuang tidied her hair, her face flushed and glowing, put her black-framed glasses back on, and resumed working on her laptop. The bullet comments exploded. This is so intense. Intense my ass, we didn't see anything. What's there that couldn't be broadcast? We're all adults. Why isn't there a notification to become a member to watch the uncensored clip? It said earlier calling her wife would cost a life. It must mean the second male, Li Yifan's life, right? If he called Lu Ningshuang wife every day and did this every day, could he handle it? If difficulties arise, this old man could reluctantly offer some assistance. 1 or 2 times. I can lend a hand 3 or 4 times. I can lend a hand 5 or 6 times. I can lend a hand 7 or 8 times. Ignoring these lectures before my eyes, I dragged my exhausted body, quickly washed up, and went to sleep. When I opened my eyes again, it was already late morning. I didn't know when Lu Ningshuang had come to bed or when she had gotten up. Anyway, she wasn't there now. I remembered I was the company's design director, but since the CEO was my wife, I could work from home. Looking at the recent preliminary design drafts, I felt something wasn't quite right, but for the moment, I couldn't figure out how to tackle it. Ring ring. My phone rang. Picking it up, I saw it was Xiaoyan. He'd competed with me since childhood, practically my arch-rival, always liking to snatch my things. He asked me to meet him. I initially wanted to refuse, but he said I'd regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't go out. As it happened, Lu Ningshuang had a social engagement that evening, and being bored at home alone, I reluctantly agreed to Xiaoyan's invitation. When the time came, I got up and headed out. Just as I stepped out of the car at the hotel entrance, I ran into Xiaoyan, who had arrived at the same time. Bai Jie is coming back, did you know? Xiaoyan said with a serious expression. Looking at him all dressed up, damn, he looked handsome. I rolled my eyes at him. What does her coming back have to do with me? Did everyone still think I was hopelessly hung up on Bai Jie? Hearing my words, Xiaoyan's eyes widened in shock, but then they seemed to fill with some kind of light. I heard she's bringing a man back with her. As he spoke, Xiaoyan observed me, as if gauging my reaction. We walked in side by side, Xiaoyan staying close to me, chattering nonstop. To sum it up in 4 words, Bai Jie is no good. Meanwhile, I was lost in thought, staring at the barrage of bullet comments. Xiaoyan is my favorite hottie. Yifan ends up with nothing later. His fate is tragic. I thought Xiaoyan would kick him while he was down, but not only did he not, he secretly helped him behind the scenes. If the female lead finds out, the consequences would be unthinkable. He just wants to be Yifan's friend. What's wrong with that? All these years, Xiaoyan's been opposing me just to be my friend? I stole a glance at Xiaoyan beside me. This guy had always been competing with me. Just to be friends? Was he competing to get my attention? Could it be that he was into me? A chill ran down my spine. I subtly covered my butt and tentatively asked, Hey, Xiaoyan, do you have someone you like? Xiaoyan froze at my question. Why are you asking? That. Seeing his reaction, I felt inexplicably nervous. No way, that's not my thing. I only like my cold, aloof in public, but passionate at-home wife, Lu Ningshuang. Just as I was about to say something, I suddenly spotted a familiar figure ahead. My sister. Taking a closer look, it really was my sister, Yi Qingwu. Xiaoyan immediately grabbed me. How did you know I like your sister? I hadn't guessed at all. I was just about to say I saw my sister. Xiaoyan, however, was single-mindedly pressing me. Tell me, how did you know I like your sister? Was I that obvious? This completely threw me off. I had no idea Xiao Yin liked my sister. Judging by the sea of question marks and the bullet comments, no one else knew either. Wait, no. Xiao Yin, you like my sister, so why the hell have you been targeting me all this time? I asked him outright. Xiao Yin looked a little guilty. If you went back and talked trash about me, your sister would come scold me. That way, I could see her often. Hearing his explanation, I was speechless. This guy was so love-struck, there was no saving him. Thinking this, I snorted. Oh wow, you hit pretty well. My sister's been getting pressured by the family to go on blind dates lately. If you wanted to ask someone out, it should have been her. Why the hell did you invite me? I invited you because I wanted your help. I sneered. Given our relationship, why should I help you chase my sister? You're always stealing stuff from me. The things I took were all stuff you didn't like, weren't they? Xiao Yin looked at me pitifully. Now that he mentioned it, that was true. My sister's tastes and mine were like two parallel lines. Absolutely no overlap, because Xiao Yin kept taking my things. Over time, rumors spread that we were at odds. And honestly, even I believed it. I prepared your favorite things for tonight. Help a bro out, okay? I lifted my chin and nodded coolly. We'll see how you perform first. Once inside the hotel, Xiao Yin promptly and considerately helped me off with my coat and pulled out my chair. This meal turned out to be pretty damn satisfying. Having eaten and drunk my fill, I came out of the restroom. I saw the figure of a man standing before the mirror, his eyes vacant, the whites bloodshot. I hadn't planned on paying him any mind, but his features reflected in the mirror bore a 60 to 70% resemblance to mine, leaving me stunned. Perhaps noticing my gaze, he turned his head to look at me. After seeing my face clearly, he asked with some uncertainty, "You must be Mr. Yi Fan." I nodded. You know me? Could this be an illegitimate son left behind by my deadbeat dad? Though, there isn't much family fortune to fight over. My name is Song Zhi. Responding to his self-introduction, I nodded. Oh, hello. Neither of us seemed to know what to say. But at that moment, the bullet comments suddenly exploded. Holy crap, the male lead and the second male lead met ahead of schedule. King meets king now. Yi Fan must be panicking, right? A man who looks so much like him, yet is more handsome. If the male lead Song Zhi escapes this troublesome place, the female lead's love for him will probably become even firmer. Judging by the bullet comments, Song Zhi and I shouldn't be related by blood. If we were, the comments would likely have mentioned it. Now that Luning Shuang and I aren't divorced, I don't know if the plot's direction will change. Song Zhi stared at me for a few moments. Sorry, that was rash of me. I just saw that, mister. You looked a lot like me, so... His voice trailed off, and I didn't catch the rest. But logically, even if the male lead Song Zhi appeared early, he shouldn't recognize me. Is there anything else? Hearing my question, Song Zhi shook his head and walked away, looking a bit dejected. Frowning as I watched him leave, I thought, forget it. Just stay away from the male and female leads. My phone rang. It was Luning Shuang. I answered while heading towards the underground parking garage. Before I reached my car, I suddenly saw Song Zhi, who had just left not long ago, being pinned against the corner of the parking lot wall by several people. The scene was indescribable. Why aren't you talking? What do you want to eat? I'll bring it back for you. Luning Shuang's voice came from the other end. Snapping back to reality, I suppressed the urge to call for help, blushing as I quickly walked away from the other side. Oh, it's nothing. Just bring me some small pastries. Okay. I'll be home soon. After hanging up, I continued walking quickly towards my parking spot, controlling my desire to watch the commotion. This city truly is a city with high tolerance and freedom. Yi Fan? A clear voice called out. Isn't that damn by Jia, the female lead's voice? Forget it. Pretend I didn't hear. I don't want anything to do with her. Beep beep. I unlocked the car and pulled the door open. Yi Fan. Bai Jia's voice rose a notch. Seeing her rapidly approaching, I knew I couldn't avoid her this time. Accompanied by Song Zhi's cry of surprise, I followed the sound and saw Song Zhi clutching his rear, his face contorted in pain. Bai Jia stood before me, her expression complex. Have you been well? Though I couldn't quite decipher the meaning behind her look, I nodded. Very good, but I think you need to pay more attention to your boyfriend. With that, I pointed at Song Zhi. He doesn't look like he's doing too well, being roughed up like that by several people. If it were me, I probably wouldn't even be able to walk. Looking again at Song Zhi, there were only faint tears welling in the corners of his eyes, his hand clutching the sore spot. Otherwise, There was nothing overtly unusual about him. Hearing this, Bai Jie glanced back, then, as if remembering something, immediately turned back to stare at me. Yi Fan, don't misunderstand. He's not my boyfriend. Behind Bai Jie, the color visibly drained from Songjia's face. After saying this, Bai Jie leaned towards me, seemingly about to take my arm. Suddenly, a bullet comment appeared. Frowny face, it's over. A goddamn Shura field is here. Second male lead. Watch your back. Your wife is here. Seeing this bullet comment, I quickly stepped back, dodging Bai Jie's hand. At the same time, I looked behind me. Not far away in the shadows, there really was someone standing there, holding a rather unique-looking gift box. Although the lighting was dim, I recognized her immediately, my wife, Luning Shuang. It definitely wasn't, because the bullet comments pointed her out. Figuring her expression probably wasn't great, I ran over to Luning Shuang's side. Honey, you're here. I deliberately added a little chirpiness to my voice. Seems my green tea skills aren't half bad. Hearing me, Luning Shuang's frosty face broke into a brilliant smile. You said you'd wait for me at home. What are you doing here? It seemed Luning Shuang had told me to wait at home earlier. I just didn't expect to run into her here. Even with my brain's CPU running like crazy, I couldn't think of any excuse right then. Idiot, say you can't pick her up. Seeing the bullet comment prompt, my eyes lit up. I was worried you might get drunk, so I can't pick you up. A smile played at the corners of Luning Shuang's eyes. But I clearly saw you drinking with Xiao Yin just now. Looks like the bullet comment tactic didn't work either. Mr. Yi, you might have misunderstood. Bai Jie and I are really not boyfriend and girlfriend. Songjia had walked over with Bai Jie at some point. Hearing his voice, I moved to Luning Shuang's side and turned to face them. Whether you're boyfriend and girlfriend or not, I don't care, and it has nothing to do with me. Why are you explaining your relationship to my husband? Luning Shuang's cold voice cut in. Songjia looked at Bai Jie with a sorrowful expression. I was worried, mister. Ye might misunderstand my relationship with President Bai. The delicate hand intertwined with mine suddenly tightened its grip. This Songjia does nothing but cause trouble for me. This is like yellow mud falling into your pants. Even if it isn't shit, it looks like shit. Misunderstanding? President Bai knows perfectly well whether there's any misunderstanding or not. Wouldn't you agree, President Bai? Why did Luning Shuang's words have the feel of a villain's provocation? Bai Jie's face was currently dark, standing ramrod straight, glaring daggers at Luning Shuang. The corners of Luning Shuang's mouth lifted slightly as she pulled me into the car. In the rearview mirror, I saw Bai Jie turn and leave, radiating a soul-crushing low pressure. Only Songjia was left standing alone at the scene. I even began to doubt if he was really the male lead. How could he be so pathetic? I felt the push back into the seat as Luning Shuang, without a word, floored it. On the way, she maintained her aloof, iceberg persona, not saying a word. I thought I'd try to warm things up a bit and said, was tonight's partnership discussed at this hotel? Yes. Good. As long as she's willing to communicate, it's not a big problem. Was it successful? How are we supposed to talk like this? Luning Shuang, I'm giving you face here, right? If you don't want to talk, then fine. With me not speaking, the car instantly fell silent. I turned my head to look at the scenery outside, sneaking glances at Luning Shuang in the window's reflection. Her brow was slightly furrowed. Can't this girl see that Bai Jie was deliberately trying to provoke her? She's so sharp when it comes to business. How could she be so dense now? Fine, I won't pay attention to her either. Let her regret it. Why are they fighting again? She's just jealous. What did she do wrong? What did she do wrong? The bullet comments appeared again. I turned my head slightly to look at Luning Shuang. My gaze met her large, watery, innocent eyes. I'm sorry, I was in a bad mood just now. Luning Shuang's voice sounded a little down. Her saying that actually made me feel a bit embarrassed. I was actually just about to head straight home. That's why I didn't tell you. Luning Shuang's brow smoothed out. She nodded, but didn't say anything. But thinking back to their earlier conversation, I was still a bit confused. What did you and Bai Jie mean by what you said earlier? Luning Shuang looked slightly unnatural. It's nothing, just business matters. This uncharacteristic hesitation from Luning Shuang. Looks like there's definitely some hidden secret between her and Bai Jie. Watching Luning Shuang drive with one hand, I couldn't help but nod. That coolly aloof, boss-like demeanor of yours just now was truly beautiful and striking. Did you like me like that? Lu Ningxuang pretended to be nonchalant, but she was actually happily gripping the steering wheel with both hands, a smile touching the corners of her eyes. I didn't keep her in suspense and said directly, "Loved it." Lu Ningxuang chuckled softly, turned on the music, and continued driving. Over the next few days, I thought about avoiding Bai Jie and Songzhe, though I wasn't sure why. Whether it was eating, drinking, shopping, or watching movies, I'd invariably run into them. It just seemed Bai Jie was still unwilling to give Songzhe official status because her mother disapproved. This was information I gathered from the bullet comments. I went shopping idly to buy something for Lu Ningxuang. Coincidentally, I bumped into Bai Jie's mother shopping with Songzhe. Seeing Mrs. By ordering Songzhe about the whole time, I quickly turned, preparing to slip away. Unexpectedly, the sharp-eyed Mrs. Bai spotted me. "Xiao Yi, you're out shopping too." I quickly stopped and walked towards Mrs. Bai. "Yes, Annie? Haven't seen you in a while. How are you still aging in reverse? Getting younger and more beautiful." No matter what kind of person Mrs. Bai was, it was always right not to slight someone who was smiling. Sure enough, Mrs. Bai beamed upon hearing this. "Xiao Yi, you're still such a sweet talker. I really envy your mother, having such a handsome and sensible son." I quickly deflected the praise with the usual polite modesty. However, Mrs. Bai then started sighing, "Sigh before you and our Bai Jie. Forget it. Let's not talk about it. It's just our misfortune in this life." I stood by forcing a smile, but didn't say much more. But Songzhe, beside her, looked distinctly uncomfortable, his face stiff, looking somewhat haggard and pale. After walking with Mrs. Bai for a short while, I found an excuse to leave. Just as I turned the corner, I heard Mrs. Bai berating Songzhe. "This mother of Bai Jie is such a snob. Thinks no one is good enough for her daughter. Yeah, after Yi Fan got divorced and pursued Bai Jie, she still looked down on him for being divorced. This Songzhe is kind of pitiful. Isn't Yi Fan pitiful too?" Mrs. Bai used Yi Fan to try and drive away the male lead, Songzhe, but unexpectedly, Songzhe still ended up with Bai Jie. In the end, Yi Fan was the most tragic, his family ruined, dying alone. The plot has already progressed this far. How come Yi Fan and Lu Ningxuang haven't divorced yet? Something's not right. Watching the bullet comments scroll past incessantly, I felt a wave of smug satisfaction. There's no way we're divorcing in this lifetime. But there was something strange now, which was that no matter how I tried to avoid them, I kept frequently encountering Bai Jie and Songzhe. Back home, I gave a necklace I had just bought to Lu Ningxuang. She happily asked me to put on for her. After dinner, I lay on the sofa looking at my phone. Ding dong. Xiaoyan, bombshell news. Songzhe's been hospitalized. Me? Impossible, right? I just ran into him shopping with Bai Jie's mother at the mall this afternoon. It's only been a few hours. And how do you know? Xiaoyan, you forgot my grandma's hospitalized. I went to see her and saw Bai Jie arguing with her mom, accidentally overheard. I shook my head, feeling a bit wistful. Lu Ningxuang, having finished her shower, saw me like this and leaned against me. "What's wrong? You keep shaking your head." I showed her the chat messages. I ran into them shopping this evening. He seemed fine then. How could he be hospitalized just 2 or 3 hours later? Mrs. Bai seemed perfectly normal. Could it be that in reality? A chill ran down my spine at the thought. Lu Ningxuang lightly patted my arm. "I don't think Mrs. Bai did it. The Bai family is in chaos right now. Old Mr. Bai's health is failing. He could pass away at any moment, and Bai Jie is the only daughter in the direct family line." But suddenly, a bastard child of Bai Jie's father appeared, her half-brother. Madame Bai probably wouldn't want any complications now. Whatever, no point overthinking. Today, I must seize the initiative in this battle. The next evening, Lu Ningxuang changed into an exquisite evening gown, paired with sheer Balenciaga stockings and crystal high heels. I hurriedly put on a suit. Lu Ningxuang looked surprised. "Are you coming to the banquet with me? You never used to go." I brushed it off with some excuse. With such a stunning wife dressed so provocatively, I had to keep a close eye on her. However, the dullness of the banquet far exceeded my expectations. A bunch of strangers made awkward small talk with me, exchanging WeChat contacts and business cards. After a few toasts, I couldn't even remember who was who. It was so awkward I wanted to dig my toes into the ground. From a distance, Lu Ningxuang noticed my lifeless expression and walked over, looping her arm through mine. You look like you don't know anyone. Huh? Don't worry, leave it to me. I'll introduce you around. With my wife, a business elite, handling the socializing, I left all the chit-chat to her. After making the rounds, I immersed myself in the buffet. Before long, 3 familiar figures walked in. It was Bai Jie, with Songzhi on her left and her mother on the right. However, none of them looked happy. It was as if they had come to collect a debt rather than attend a banquet. When Bai Jie saw me, she smiled and winked. I nodded politely and averted my gaze. Soon, I noticed Xiao Yin was also there, and the two of us stepped into the courtyard for some fresh air. Just as I was about to make random conversation, the sound of 2 men arguing erupted from behind the rockery, and one of the voices was unmistakably Songzhi's. Their voices grew louder, followed by a loud splash. Xiao Yin and I exchanged glances and rushed over to check. There, we saw Songzhi flailing in the water. Xiao Yin cursed under his breath. Damn, that guy was ruthless. Yi Fan, stay here and keep watch. I'll go get help. Late autumn had already brought a chill. Having nearly drowned before, I knew how terrifying and painful it was for someone who couldn't swim. Watching Songzhi struggle, I couldn't bear it. Grabbing a nearby fishing pole, I stretched it down and pulled him up. Once out of the water, Songzhi gasped for air, shivering uncontrollably. A crowd quickly gathered. Lu Ningxuang rushed over in her high heels, checking me over frantically. Honey, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? No, I'm fine. She draped her coat over my shoulders, and my mother soon arrived, fussing over me. See? The bond between the male and female lead still needs supporting characters to highlight. Wait, shouldn't the male lead Songzhi and the side character Yi Fan have fallen in together? Why did Yi Fan save Songzhi instead? The plot might be changing. According to the original storyline, Yi Fan and Lu Ningxuang should already be divorced by now. But look at them stuck together like glue, acting like they're in an R-rated movie every day. Wringing out my soaked sleeve, I pondered the meaning behind these bullet comments. Was I supposed to fall in with Songzhi, or was it my role to push him in? Since I didn't push him, did some other guy step in to do it, forcing me to play the hero instead? Yi Fan! Bai Jie's accusatory voice rang out from behind me. Why didn't you jump in to save him right away? Since when did you become so cold-hearted? I almost laughed in disbelief. Watch your tone, Bai Jie. Lu Ningxuang stepped in front of me, her expression icy. Even if my husband had done nothing, what could you have done about it? If he had jumped in, he might have drowned too. Don't you know Yi Fan is afraid of water? Songzhi tugged Bai Jie's hand. Don't misunderstand. Yi Fan really did save me just now. Mister Yi, I apologize. Thank you for your help. Seeing Songzhi still had some conscience, I pulled back Lu Ningxuang, who was about to explode, and led her away directly. Returning home that night, Lu Ningxuang pounced on me like a hungry tiger the moment she entered the door. After our passionate night, Lu Ningxuang leaned against the headboard, holding my head. Why didn't you let me chew that woman out today? Feeling a bit drained, it took me a moment to realize Lu Ningxuang was talking to me. Seeing I didn't speak, Lu Ningxuang suddenly asked, Do you still have feelings for her? I quickly sat up. You mean Bai Jie? Lu Ningxuang's long eyelashes drooped, and she fell silent. Seeing her expression spelled trouble, I hurriedly explained, You've misunderstood. The whole thing was a series of mishaps. Bai Jie and I were never together. Back then, she brought milk tea over several times, but Xiao Yin always snatched it and drank it. Xiao Yin thought it was from my sister for me. He likes my sister, you know? Well, maybe you don't know this. And that love letter wasn't for Bai Jie either. I didn't write the name of the person I was confessing to, which made her think I liked her. Then she said she accepted my confession and agreed to be with me. By the time I realized and wanted to reject her, the news had already spread everywhere. Lu Ningxuang narrowed her eyes at me. If it wasn't for Bai Jie, then who was it for? Lu Ningxuang leaned forward, radiating a dangerous signal. Doesn't this silly girl understand yet? I answered huffily. Anyway, it wasn't for Bai Jie. After saying that, I turned my back to Lu Ningxuang, lay down in the blankets, and went to sleep. A week later, news of Bai Jie's engagement to He Kuang the eldest son of the financial giant he group, spread like wildfire. This completely threw me off. Without me, the male supporting character, messing things up, shouldn't Bai Jie have ended up with Songja? The scrolling comments share my confusion. Are you kidding me? We're only 100-something chapters in. How is Bai Jie already engaged? Is the plot moving this fast? Shu Yifan, the villainous male supporting character, have done all sorts of evil deeds, tried everything to break Bai Jie and Songja apart, and ended up losing his family and dying alone? Where did all those chapters go? Setting aside these comments, the current question was, where had Songja gone? Soon, Bai Jie came looking for me, demanding, Yifan, where did you hide Songja? Completely baffled, I was somewhat baffled. What the hell are you talking about? Why would I hide Songja? I'm not gay. Bai Jie pulled out a phone, showing the call log. Look, Songja's last call was to you. What did he say? I looked at the phone screen. Indeed, there was such a call, and it lasted for half an hour. The key point was, how come I had absolutely no memory of it? I was wondering how to argue my way out of it. No, how to explain. The sound of high heels clicking on the floor approached. Lu Ningxuang walked over and sat down beside me. Ms. Bai, what brings you here today? I took that call. If you have questions, ask me. I looked at Lu Ningxuang, bewildered. When did you answer a call for me? How come I didn't know? Lu Ningxuang gracefully took the teacup from my hand and took a sip. That day we were bathing together. Didn't you ask me to scrub your back? When I went to get the towel, your phone on the coffee table in the living room rang, so I answered it for you. Now that she mentioned it, that did happen. What did Songja say? Why did he leave without a word? Although Lu Ningxuang was sitting, her presence was intimidating. Bai Jie didn't dare approach. Him? He told my husband stay as far away from you as possible, that you're not a good person. Hearing this, Bai Jie's face turned crimson, veins popping on her forehead as if she might explode any second. Lu Ningxuang, however, calmly sipped my black tea. He didn't say anything else, and he certainly didn't mention where he was going. Believe it or not, Bai Jie glared at both of us and left resentfully. The next day, news arrived that Bai Jie's engagement to the He family's eldest son was canceled. She started frantically searching everywhere for Songja. Disappearing along with Songja was the female doctor who performed his chrysanthemum surgery. I heard she was even Songja's childhood sweetheart. When Xiaoyan told me this news, I nearly spat out a mouthful of old blood. Isn't this the fucking cliché plot of a web novel? When a male lead is down on his luck, there's a gentle woman who is incredibly good to him. The male lead leaves with this woman. Then the female lead is heartbroken and searches everywhere for him. Finally, the male lead returns and the two reconcile. That gentle woman, however, ends up tragically alone for the rest of her life. And of course, there's me, the male supporting character. My fate should also be extremely miserable. However, after that, I could no longer see the bullet comments. 1 year later, on the way to take Lu Ningxuang for a prenatal checkup. Over the past year, I've been constantly worried that something uncontrollable might still happen in the future. Lu Ningxuang looked at me and smiled. Don't worry. The things you're worried about won't happen. My heart jumped. What do you mean by that? Songja said on that phone call back then, that we live in a world like a web novel. Songja is the male lead, Bai Jie is the female lead, and you're the villainous male supporting character. Seeing my surprised gaze, Lu Ningxuang continued. But all that ended when the novel concluded. You don't need to worry about any more mandatory plot points happening in the future. My anxious heart finally settled. During a pause at a red light, I handed Lu Ningxuang the love letter I had rewritten. She opened her mouth slightly in surprise. Then, with the happy look of a young girl all over her face, she opened it and read. The content was so mushy, I was embarrassed to even give it to her. Shortly after, Lu Ningxuang, having finished the letter, reached over and grabbed my hand on the gear shift, her eyes practically drawing silk threads. Hubby, I want. Get lost, I'm driving. I sternly stopped this dangerous and uncivilized behavior. Arriving at the hospital's obstetrics department, the prenatal checkup went normally. After gathering the checkup documents, I braced myself and asked, Director, who? Just a question. During pregnancy, can we still? You know. Director Who glared at me. Marital relations, right? Not allowed during the first and last trimesters. I laughed awkwardly. So that means the middle months are okay, right? Director Who snorted coldly. What's wrong with you? Your own wife has a big belly. Stop thinking about these messy things all day. I turned my head to look at Lu Ningshuang and criticize her seriously. Did you hear that? Even the director said no. Lu Ningshuang lowered her head, looking aggrieved. All right, then I won't force you.